Oh, and can we take a moment to appreciate that I actually put the Christmas tree up? And yes, there is a strand of lights that are dead. Hello, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Christina, aka nw.reader, and this video is my November wrap-up. So for the month of November, I read a total of 11 books. Well, read/listened to 11 books. I'm pretty happy with the amount. Well, I predicted at the end of October that I was going to end up having a reading hangover, and it happened. The first 2 weeks of November, I didn't really read anything. I finished a book that I read the majority of in October, and then I wouldn't say it was slumpy or anything like that. I don't like saying I'm in a reading slump, but I just was not in the mood for it. This is around the time of year where I am just not in the best of moods. I never really like this time of year, so bear with me. But I was able to complete 11 books, which I'm completely happy with. So let's get into it. So the first book that I finished in the month of November, I read the majority of it in October, but it's Pretty Girls by Karen Slaughter. I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. Like, there are parts in it that's pretty brutal and shocking and stuff like that, but I wasn't as grossed out, as freaked out, as shocked about the gory scenes as a lot of people were, which I don't know what that says about me as a person and a reader. Because I mean, I think it's just because I've read some really messed up stuff in the last couple months, so maybe that's why. But overall, it was okay. It's about just some missing girls, and how the missing girls are connected to this family. And I don't want to spoil anything because I went into this completely not knowing anything about it, and I'm super happy I did. And so yeah, I gave it 4 stars. I thought it was pretty good. The twists in it were pretty shocking. Even in the very beginning, when stuff starts going down right in the very beginning, and I was surprised by that. I thought they would have more of a build up to the story, but whew, a lot goes on in this book. But yeah, 4 stars. So the second book I finished, I actually started it on Halloween night during the full moon and stuff, but it is Halloween Fiend by C.V. Hunt. I gave it 4 stars. I thought it was pretty good. It's just about this small town that gets harassed pretty much by this monster that they call Halloween, and they have to give a nightly sacrifice to this being. And it was pretty spooky. I was pleasantly surprised by how creepy it was, and a unique story that I've never read anything like that before, or like that concept. The ending was decent. It was somewhat predictable. I kind of predicted one part of the ending, like around the middle of the story. But overall, I thought it was pretty decent. So 4 stars. So the next book I finished, it was A Cosmology of Monsters by Sean Hamill. I also gave it 4 stars. I thought it was pretty good also. I bounced between the audiobook and the ebook for this one. It's definitely unique. It just follows a family and this monster that pretty much is in their lives. And again, just go into the book not knowing anything about it, because you'll enjoy it way more, I feel, because I enjoyed it a lot. There are some parts where I was just kind of caught off guard by and surprised about. It definitely wasn't predictable, that's for sure. Because there is, I don't want to spoil anything, but you can kind of tell from the book cover that the monster and someone, they're close. And I was surprised at how much I actually enjoyed the relationship the monster had with people in the book. So yeah, pretty good. Very good. 4 stars. So the next book I finished, I had the e-copy of. I checked it out from my library because I got approved for the second book in I don't know if it's a companion series, if it's just a companion or if it's a series for this, but it's a graphic novel. But it is Sheets by Brianna Thumwer. I also gave it 4 stars. I thought it was very cute. It's just about this ghost boy, this young ghost that haunts this laundromat, and he befriends this young girl that works there and pretty much runs the place. And the book was really cute. It says a lot about grief and friendship and relationships and stuff like that. And I really enjoyed it, actually, and how the little ghost boy and younger girl help one another and just their friendship. And it's really sweet. I look forward to reading Delicates, which is the second one, or the book following Sheets. I got approved for an e-arc of it on NetGalley, so I look forward to reading that pretty soon. So the next book I finished, it's a NetGalley e-arc that I was approved for. It is White Ivy by Susie Yang. I gave that 4 stars. I gave a lot of 4 stars this month, apparently. This was pretty good. This is my type of book that I am naturally drawn to. The book follows this Chinese girl who is, I believe she was born in America, and her parents are immigrants, or her grandparents were immigrants. I'm not too sure, but it just follows her story, and it's just very the typical angsty teenage girl doing bad things, and you just follow along with her. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed her as a character, even though she was very flawed in every type of way. But I like that about characters, especially stories like this, where it reminds me of like Go Ask Alice or those types of books, you know? But with the main character being so flawed, you can't help but relate to her. And it was interesting to see her perspective on just being Chinese American, trying to fit in with all of her white friends, and trying not to be the stereotypical Asian girl, just her struggles with her identity and stuff like that, and being poorer than all the rich kids in her school. So again, I thought it was a really good story, and it was captivating. I liked her a lot, but 4 stars. So the next book I finished is another NetGalley e-arc. It's called Queer Icons and Their Cats. I gave it 5 stars. It was really good. What caught my eye is I love RuPaul's Drag Race. I love drag queens. And on the cover was Jujubee with her kitty, and I was like, yes, I need to request this immediately. So yeah, and it was a really quick read, but it was interesting because inside the queer people that they feature, a lot of them I never heard of. So it was very educational, actually, because it ranges from like drag queens, entertainers, authors, activists, like a wide range of people, actors, right, like everyone. And I really enjoyed it. And then they had their cats. So obviously the photos I was just living for, and each person, they had their own photo with their cat, and they had like a little mini biography about them. So it was great. I enjoyed it. The artwork in it was beautiful, of all the people. So I highly recommend it. 5 stars. So the next book I ended up reading, well, I listened to it actually. My little reading group that I have with 2 of my girlfriends, Quarantine and Read, we wanted to read a smut book. So we've read a couple of Penelope Douglas's books before and enjoyed them. So we thought we'd give this one a try. And it's Penelope Douglas's Corrupt. It's the first book of one of her series, and I hated it. I just was not a fan. I gave it 2 stars, which I don't even know why I gave it 2 and not 1, but it was just, there is a lot of things I just did not like about it. And this is like one of her earlier books, and you can tell the difference. And it's just like, it wasn't the sexy parts. It wasn't very creative, I guess you can say. Her writing style has improved tremendously over the years, which is, it's just, that's what you would want to do, I would think. But I wasn't into the story from the jump. It's about like these high school kids, and something bad happens with this group of guys that are on like the football team or something, and they get in trouble, and the girl that got them in trouble, they want to take revenge on her years later once they get out of jail. So you bounce back and forth between the inciting incident of what happened in the past to what is currently happening with them trying to get revenge. It was just so disjointed, and I just didn't like any of the characters. A lot of the characters were forgettable. Like whenever they would pop up, I'm like, oh wait, that's her boyfriend, or oh yeah, that's so-and-so. And I just did not care. I couldn't stand the main girl in it. A lot of the stuff that was in it seemed very random, and it, like, I get it's not supposed to be 100% believable. It's fictional. I get it. But when they're racing on boats, and I don't want to spoil anything, but it was too Lifetime original movie for me. I don't get why people liked it. And there's more in the series. I read a little bit of what the second book is about, and that is a hard no. Ugh, didn't like it. It was very disappointing because I wanted to read a good smut book, and this was not it. So yeah, 2 stars. So the next book I finished was an actual physical copy. I got this book from the Nightworms package for November. Yeah. Wormwood by Chad Lutsky and Tim Meyer. I enjoyed this one a lot. It follows 2 boys and a girl who are best friends, who become friends, and they just get into trouble, and it was really good. I love the writing style. This is the first time I ever read anything by these 2 authors, and it was just, the ending surprised me. It wasn't very predictable whatsoever. I love the characters. I even enjoyed the main girl, who is kind of off her rocker a little bit, and she's a little wild, and it just, like I said in my review, it reminds me of that trend of horror film thrillers from the 90s where the young girl is just super crazy and obsessive, but she's like a genius, and she is just psychotic and will kill and do crazy things because she's just not right. So that's who this is in this book, and I was eating it up. I loved it so much, and I'm happy that I got this physically. I love this. And the whenever it comes out, it comes out this month. The new cover, the other cover, it's gorgeous. I love the other cover too, but this is very cool. I gave it 5 stars. Very impressed. I'm definitely going to read more from the 2 authors, but I was pleasantly surprised that I enjoyed one of the books that came from the package. I didn't read the other book yet, but I'm excited too. So the next book I read, it was a short novella. It's The Boy in the Woods by Scott Thomas. I gave it 4 stars, I think. 3.5, 4 stars, something like that. It was decent. It's just about a boy whose parents forget to, or not able to pick him up from at the end of camp. So he has to stay an extra night. And it's pretty much him and the high school counselors that are there, and one other girl that's his age, around his age, are left there, and just bad things start to happen. It was pretty graphic, more graphic than I was expecting, but I liked it. It was pretty unique. I was kind of underwhelmed by the ending though. I was just, I don't know. I was just like, I wanted more from it, I guess, or some crazy, I don't know. I don't want to give anything away because it's so short. I don't know what I was expecting, but I was just a little underwhelmed, I guess. But I really enjoyed the main character a lot, the little boy. He's disfigured from a dog attack when he was a baby. So it's like, you just feel for the kid, and just him getting picked on for his scars and stuff. And you're in his head a lot. You read about what he's going through at that moment, and it just, yeah, I just wanted to protect him. But yeah, I think I give it like 3.5, 4 stars. It was okay. So the next book I read, or not, I guess it's a book, but it's a super short story, or super short book. It's called The Houseplant by Jeremy Ray. Gave it 5 stars. Oh my gosh, it was so good. But yeah, 5 stars easily. It is definitely in my top 10 for this year. For just being 30-something pages, it put me through all the emotions in such a short period of time. I loved it. But just like what the title says, it's about a houseplant, and you're getting the story from his perspective. His name is George, and I laughed so much through it. And then something happens, an inciting incident happens, and it was sad. It was heartbreaking. It's about grief again, like the other book, grief and friendship, and just feeling like you belong. And oh my gosh, it was really good. If you want to read something that's like super quick, well written, Jeremy writes very well. His style is just, but yeah, I highly recommend it. I loved it. And I was lucky enough to receive an e-arc of The Houseplant from Jeremy, and I appreciate it so much because he was contacting people, especially like in the horror community. He was like, this isn't a horror book, but it's like, it's my new story. I'm curious if you want to read it. And I read almost everything, but The Houseplant, heck yeah, I'm gonna read that. And I'm so glad I did. It was just like the perfect amount of pages, like story, and it was just good. And it comes out this month also, and I think it's like in a couple weeks, but keep an eye out for that. 5 stars. And then the final book that I finished this month is Follow Me to the Ground by Sue Rainsford. I gave it 3 stars. It was a short book. I actually listened to the audiobook of it, and I was underwhelmed. I predicted the ending the way, like beginning middle-ish, and it was okay. It's about a father and daughter that have like these magical abilities to open people up and heal them, and they call humans cures, I believe, if I remember correctly. And humans are kind of afraid of the father and the daughter. There's like rumors going around that like they eat kids and all this weird stuff, but that's not the case. But you were pretty much following their story, and I was kind of just disappointed because I believe Books and Lala said she really loved it, and I think a few other people said really good things about it. And maybe there is like a deeper meaning that did not click whatsoever. Just like went way over my head. But I just wasn't a huge fan of it. It was kind of disappointing, like I said. I like the concept of the story and stuff, but not really my thing, I guess. So yeah, I gave it like 3 stars, which isn't bad, but forgettable. So yeah, those are all the books I read in the month of November. The year is almost over with. I cannot wait to start next year. And just, how was your reading for the month of November? Did you read anything super awesome? Did you have a good reading month? Again, like, I'm just surprised I was even able to read 11 books, or read/listen to 11 books. And my favorite of the month, I'm gonna have to say, is probably The Houseplant. I enjoyed that a lot. Or Wormwood. I really enjoyed this one too. Those are probably my top 2 of November. So yeah, thanks for watching my video and enjoying my one section of dark lit Christmas tree. And I will talk to you guys later.